Hello, hello, I'm Ginkgo, the Silver Fox. The kitsune with the silver fur and the golden heart, and oh my, is that music loud? Hang on a sec. Okay, I think that's a little better. There we go. So, today I'm gonna do a short stream as it said in the title. I am pretty much packed already. I just need to get a sandwich from my fridge, call a cab, and off I am. I have pinned the link to the convention that I'm going to. We Romanians just call it Comic Con, but of course, I guess the more proper name would be East European Comic Con to differentiate it from any other different conventions with the same name. It's held in Bucharest. I have quite a long train ride ahead of me, but it's okay. I've done it before, can do it again. No, why am I still hearing my intro music? I think I need to fix something. There we go. I think that's better now. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. I've already opened some card packs from Star Wars Unlimited last time, as well as the pre-release set showed up all the different cards. There were two pre-made decks, such as this one. This is the Luke Skywalker deck. I also have a Darth Vader deck. So these just came with a pre-release set. I didn't touch them other than add the better version of the leader cards. And this is my custom deck. I did get a custom deck box for it, and I will be showing that off last probably. I'm not gonna go into too much details about the rules. I will show up like the starting hand and how you set up the different arena, and after that I might just link you to the website to show off like what's the game all about. Okay, let's jump into the first deck, the Luke Skywalker deck. I played this with my friends. Oops, I think I just dropped something. Oh yeah, the token. There we go. Right, the leader and the base should be in the front of the deck, and that's kinda out of the airlock right now, as one would say, because... Oh, there we go, okay. This is a token. Okay, yeah, I have another version. Another token, experience token, another experience token. Come on, where's the base? I know I had it. Unless some of the bases are on the back of token cards, if I remember correctly. I think that's the case here too. Oh, well, I guess I just have to go through my deck and find it. So, each of the Star Wars Unlimited decks has a so-called leader card that you place around here. And each leader has an ability. Luke Skywalker, for example, has the activated ability, you pay 1 resource or mana, as it's called in many other different games. And you are allowed to place a shield token, which is this card, and attach it to a unit. The idea is that with a shield, kind of like Divine Shield in other games, or whatever else you may call it in Magic the Gathering, before the unit actually takes damage, you prevent that instance of damage and just remove the shield token from it. There's also the experience tokens. Some of the cards generate this, you attach this to a unit and it gains +1/+1, so +1 attack and +1 health. Oh, let me make sure I don't drop my keyboard. Okay, so these two cards are the same. The only difference is that one is the so-called hyperspace rarity. It doesn't have any borders and it has like this, I don't know how well you can see it, this hyperspace effect around it. And leader cards actually have two sides because they have a so-called epic action. It's an action you can only take once per game, and when you do it, you flip the card like this and you put him on the battlefield, and it becomes an actual unit with attack, health, and it can also be defeated, and when it's defeated it comes back as a leader. But you can't summon him to the battlefield anymore. So let's go over the cards. Actually, we have Lance X-Wing, a 2 resource card, 2 attack, 3 health, no extra effects. This one goes to the so-called space arena. There are 2 arenas, ground and space. Space units can only attack space, other space units and your base. Hope we can find the base because we really need it in order to play the game. And ground units such as R2-D2 go into the ground arena. We have... Let me think how I'm gonna do this. I think I'm just gonna... I'm gonna show later how you actually set up that battlefield. I think right now the most important is that I just go through the different cards and what they do. So we have R2-D2. When played or when you attack with R2-D2, you can look at the top of your deck, and I may put it on the bottom or leave it on my top of my deck, and that comes into play with another card. It's a very good combo with C-3PO. Who knew the two famous droids working together? We have also Vanquish. This is a so-called... This is the equivalent of a spell card in this game. It's called the Event of a tactic type. And this one costs 5 resources, and it just straight up destroys non-leader units. So I can't destroy a leader card such as Luke Skywalker with it, but any other unit is fair game. This is an upgrade equip card, and it's called Resilient. When you attach this to a unit, it gains +3 health. No attack, but extra health can be useful. We have Snow Speeder. This is from The Empire Strikes Back, from the Battle of Hoth. This one has a keyword called Ambush. So normally, like in many other games, when you summon a unit, it comes into play flipped like this, exhausted, which means it cannot attack. However, cards that have the Ambush keyword can be readied right away and can attack right away. And that's obviously very powerful, and when you attack with it, you can exhaust an enemy vehicle unit. So yeah, this one is a vehicle. There are like certain subtypes like Trooper, Imperial, Vehicle, Droid, and so on, Rebel. So yeah, that's very useful. General Dadana, this is a 4 resource, 4/4 rebel official, and he has like a passive effect where all of the rebel units on the field get +1/+1, and he has like a little star next to his name that makes it a unique card. which means that you can't have more than one of this on the battlefield. Normally, cards have you can have 3 copies of each card, and you can play up to 3 of them. But with unique cards, you can only have 1 up at a time, and if you play another copy of it, you need to put the first one into the discard pile, we call it here, but you may be familiar with the term graveyard or grave in other games. We have good old Chewbacca, a 5 resource 3/6. He is a sentinel, which is the equivalent of a block or taunt, meaning that other units have to attack him first, and with the 3 attack is pretty 6 health, he can survive quite a bit. Of course, he's a tad expensive with the 5 resources. And he also has another special ability. When he's attacked, you may ready him. So, let's say I attack with Chewbacca. Bam. He is now exhausted. I need to wait until the next action phase to ready him again. However, if my opponent attacks into him, and they have to attack into him if they want to get rid of him, or maybe they use a event card, a spell card to get rid of him. But if they attack into him, let's say he takes 2 damage and then Chewbacca is readied, and then next round I can attack with him again. So pretty powerful, and if you can buff him, that's gonna be even better. We have Vigilant Honor Guards. 5 resource, 4 attack, 6 health, Rebel, so it gains the bonus from General Dodana. This one is Sentinel, but only while it is undamaged, so you can kind of play around with it. Sometimes you may not want it to have the Sentinel keyword. You may want other Sentinels protecting it, but if you have a way to heal him, and there are cards that have the healing effect, you may keep it as a pretty good tank for your life points. We have old Obi-Wan Kenobi, Force Jedi. Yeah, Force Jedi, that's a subtype. 6 resources, so it's pretty much a mid to end game card. 4 attack, 6 health. He has, of course, Sentinel. He protects your other units, just like he protected Luke Skywalker. And when he is defeated, you give 2 experience tokens, so this thing, to another friendly unit. And if it's a Force unit, like let's say Luke Skywalker, then you can also draw a card. And card draw, like in many other card games, is very useful. Okay, we have another copy of R2-D2. We have 2 copies of Leia, no, make that 3 copies of Leia Organa. She's 2 resource 2/2, so an earlier game card, and when played, so when you summon her, you can either ready a resource, I'll show you what resources are later, or exhaust an enemy unit, which means they won't be able to attack this round. Quite useful. We have a Fleet Lieutenant, 3 resource, 3 attack, 3 health unit. When played, I can make, so when summoned, I can attack with another unit. That is, as long as the unit is already able to attack. And if it's a rebel unit, like let's say Leia, it will also gain +2, +0. So it's a very powerful, because normally you can, with one action, you can either summon a card, like call it, put it on the battlefield, or attack. And cards that allow you to do the 2 things simultaneously obviously are very useful to control the game. We have Asteroid Sanctuary, where we have the Millennium Falcon indeed going into an asteroid, but that turned out to be a bad idea somewhat. This is an event for 2 resources, exhaust an enemy unit, and you give a shield token to a friendly unit that costs 3 or less. So shield token, again, this shield means that you negate 1 instance of damage on the unit, and then you remove the equipment. We have a surgical droid, the same surgical droid that took care of Luke Skywalker in episode 5. It's a 1 resource, 1 attack, 3 health unit, and when you attack with it, you may heal 2 damage from another unit. Combos pretty well with the Vigilant Honor Guard, because he might keep on taking damage, but if you can restore it to max health, then it will continue to protect your other units with the Sentinel ability. We have C-3PO. Of course, we can't have R2-D2 without C-3PO, right? When played or when you attack with it, you choose a number, and then you look at the top card of your deck. If it's the cost of the chosen number, you may reveal it and draw it. So obviously, it goes well with R2-D2, who allows you to spy on the top card of your deck. And let's say you spy, you look at the top of your deck with R2-D2. You see that it is a 2-cost unit. You keep it there, and then with C-3PO you play it or you attack with it and guess, oh, I'm guessing a 2. And how about that? It's actually a 2-cost unit, and that means you can draw it. When facing this deck, it's a good idea to eliminate either C-3PO or R2-D2 as quickly as possible to break that combo. We actually have 2 copies of R2-D2, and yeah, that's the second copy of C-3PO. Okay, next we have a space unit, a vehicle, a restored ARC 170. The ARC 170s being the cards from the Clone Wars era. This one has the ability Restore 1. When you attack with it, you heal 1 damage from your base. Again, hope I can find the base actually to show what that means. Oh, and it has 2 attack and 3 health. I figured maybe I should put the cards here so we can see it better. Okay. Next, we have Rebel Pathfinder. Actually, first I have another copy of Restored Arc 7. Okay, Rebel Pathfinder, 2 resource, 2 attack, 3 health minion. It has the Saboteur keyword. And Saboteur means you ignore the Sentinel, so you ignore the units that protect your other units, and when it attacks, it also removes the Defender's shields, which is very good against players who are very defensive. We have an event, a spell, like a one-time use card, Waylay. And this is like a scene from episode 6 when they get arrested on Endor, or the Forest Moon of Endor. And it has the ability return a non-lethal unit to its owner's hand. Very good for only 3 resource cost, and obviously defeating a unit might be more useful in most cases. But returning a unit to hand means they have to pay the cost for it again to summon it, they have to wait until it's able to attack again, and you also circumvent a certain keyword named when defeated. So certain cards trigger an effect when they get defeated and sent to the discard pile. And of course, if they get returned to the hand, or bounced as we call it also in the card game world, then they don't get that effect. Okay, next. We have another copy of Fleet Lieutenant. When you play it, you can attack with another Rebel unit. Actually, you can attack with any unit, and if it's a Rebel unit, it gets +2/+0. Next we have Luke's lightsaber. This is an upgrade card, so an equipment card. You attach it to another unit. You can attach it to any non-vehicle unit, but when you attach it to Luke Skywalker specifically, this handsome fella, then you heal him for all damage, which is very good, because let's say he has normally 7 health max and he's down to 1 health, you just healed him for 6, which is very cool. And you also give him a shield unit, so you also make him even harder to defeat. But of course, yeah, you have to time it right. You must actually have Luke Skywalker on the field. I believe there's also a non-leader version of Luke Skywalker, but that's pretty hard to pull from the packs. Okay, we have a second copy of Luke Skywalker. We have 2 copies of Repair. Heal 3 damage from a unit or a base. Pretty straightforward. For 1 resource, you simply restore your either your base or one unit for 3 health. Shoot first, very iconic scene and very iconic meme as well from the Star Wars universe. And yeah, it's an event, so you play it and then you put it in this card pile. And it has the effect, you attack with a unit, it gets +1 attack and deals its combat damage before the defender. And it has the clarification, you can only attack with a ready friendly unit. If the defender is defeated, it deals no combat damage to the attacker. So actually, yeah, in the original scene, Han Solo is the only one who shoots, and he shoots and kills Greedo before he has a chance to deal any harm to him. And that's pretty much reflected in this card effect, because normally when you attack with a unit and you attack an enemy unit, they also deal damage to you simultaneously. But with this, so let's say I have Luke Skywalker, I play shoot first, I make him attack, and he will deal that 4 damage to the unit, and if they defeat that unit, he will take no damage at all. So that's very good. Okay, speaking of shooting first, we have Han Solo, a pretty late game card for 7 resources, 6 attack and 6 health. He has the ambush ability, meaning that you can attack with him right away, and I believe this is the scene from A New Hope where he starts chasing the stormtroopers, and then he goes into a room where he realizes that he got more than what he bargained for. And he has pretty much the same effect as Choose First, where he deals combat damage before the defender, and if he defeats the defender, then he will take no damage. And with 6 attack, he can take out a lot of units, especially early game units. Okay, we have Consular Security Force, a 4 resource, 3 attack, 7 health unit. No effect, but pretty good stats for 4 resources. With 7 health, it can survive for quite a long time, and if you keep giving him shield tokens and heal him up, then he's gonna be able to stick around for a long time. Oh, we have a 3rd copy of C-3PO. I guess I was wrong. You have 3 copies of R2-D2 and 3 copies of C-3PO. We already covered his effect. We have Surprise Attack. Attack with a unit, it gets +3, +0 for this attack, but it has the clarification that you absolutely have to have the unit ready. Like I have my Luke Skywalker ready, so I haven't attacked with him yet. So it's basically a simple +3 bonus, but it's probably worth it if you need to defeat a very powerful enemy unit, or you want to deal that last 3 points of damage to the enemy base and win the game, because that's the whole point of the game. You need to defeat him. And yeah, it's also a scene from Rogue One, if I'm not mistaken. It's Cassian ambushing Director Krennic. Yeah, I'm having trouble making it focus, but I think you can kind of make out the picture, even if not the text. Okay, next we have good old Yoda. 3 resource, unique unit, so you can only have 1 of him on the field. 2 attack, 4 health. He has the Restore 2 ability, which makes him very useful because he can heal your base. And how does he do that? I guess he just uses a force to pick up the debris and put them back into place, I suppose. But more importantly, he also has the effect when defeated. So when you deal 4 damage to him and he is finally defeated and goes to the discard pile, you can choose any number of players. They each draw a card. So normally, when you go 1 versus 1 against your opponent, you probably just want to draw a card yourself. You don't want to help your opponent out. But there may be cases where you want your opponent to draw a card, because there is a ruling where if your opponent is out of cards and their turn comes, so they use an effect that makes them draw a card, then they will start taking more and more damage to their base. So if you deck them out, for example, and you then probably want to make Yoda force them to draw a card and take even more damage. And there's also formats where you go, I think, with 2 versus 2, so in those cases you can also let your ally draw a card. So overall, pretty useful card. We have another Consular Security Force. Simple meat shield, I suppose. Well, not really shield because he doesn't have the Sentinel effect, but vanilla card with good stats. I think that's the best description. We have Cloud City Wing Guard. 3 resource, 2 attack, 4 health, and it has Sentinel, so it will protect your base and your other units. We have another copy of Fleet Lieutenant. We have Rogue Operative. This one is 3 resource, 2 attack, 4 health, and it has the Saboteur effect, which means it ignores Sentinel and it defeats the Defender shield, so it will deal damage even if the unit has a shield token equipped. So you attack with this guy and you remove the shield token and then deal damage to them. And he also has another keyword, Raid 2, which means it gets +2 attack while attacking. So it basically becomes a 4/4 in that case, but only while attacking. While another unit attacks it, he counts as only having 2 attack. We have Wing Leader, another X-Wing, 3 resource, 2 attack, 1 health. Not very good when it comes to stats, but when you play it, you give 2 experience tokens to another friendly rebel unit. So you basically give another rebel unit +2/+2, because the experience tokens are worth +1/+1 each. Oh, and we found the base, how about that? Administrator's Tower. This one is simply, so yeah, the idea is that you have your base, like a visual representation of it, and you have your life points, the HP over here. All of the bases have 30 HP, except certain ones that have an extra effect, but those have only 25 HP. I haven't tested yet if it's worth having 5 less HP for having a once per game effect, but who knows, it could be useful. And the color of the base, which is yellow here, and the color of your hero also, or your leader, also determines the kind of deck you are building. You can have cards in your deck that do not match the colors of your base or leader, but then you have to play extra 2 resources for them, so it's kind of like a penalty. And also all leaders have either the white or black mark, so they're either a hero or villain. So let's say if I want to play a villain card with this configuration, I would have to play an extra 2 resources. We have another Asteroid Sanctuary, an Alliance X-Wing. We have another Surprise Strike, another Vanquish. Oh, and there's the 3rd copy of R2-D2. Another copy of Luke Skywalker, another copy of Vanquish. Waylay. Yeah, so this deck has several copies of several cards. 3 copies, I believe. Yeah, 3 copies is the maximum you can have of a single card. We have a new card here, System Patrol Craft. It's one that goes into your space arena, and it has a cost of 4 resources, 3 attack, 4 health, and it has the Sentinel keyword, which means it will protect your base as well as your other units. Next, we have, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Ozitok Liberator Gunship. So another space card. It has a cost of 4, attack of 3, health 4, and it has the ambush keyword, which means it can ready and attack right away. Kinda like Rush in Hearthstone. Or I don't know what would be the equivalent in what's it called? Magic the Gathering. I've played very little of it, and finally we have another copy of Alliance X-Wing. And I believe on the back of the base you have like a deck list, so you can double check to make sure that you actually... Yeah, you can double check that you actually have all the cards in the deck that you need. Let me put these a little bit in order. Want to make sure that my leader card is on top, along with the base card. And I will put the tokens towards the bottom of the deck. And yeah, that's basically the first pre-built deck that came upon release. Next, we have the Darth Vader deck. It's a lot more aggressive. Luke Skywalker deck is a lot more about control and protecting your units, healing them, healing your base, and having like high cost, more powerful units. This one is a lot more of an aggro deck, so your base is the command center, and it's of course the command center of the Death Star. Actually, you can't really make it out here, but it does say Death Star below it. And your leader here is Darth Vader. I have both the regular and the hyperspace variant, the one without the border, and the more full art. He has the ability of spending one resource, and if you played a villain card this phase, I deal 1 damage to a unit and 1 damage to the base. So very aggressive, but it does have some prerequisites. You do need to pay 1 resource, and you had to have summoned the villain unit, which there are plenty of in this deck. And the epic action, when I have 7 or more resources, I can deploy him as an actual unit. When I forgot to mention, when a leader is deployed into the battlefield, they lose their actual leader abilities, but they gain different abilities, and they can attack just like any other unit, and they have health and attack and health, so 5 attack, 8 health. And when you attack with Darth Vader, at the same time you deal 2 damage to a unit. So with 5 attack and his effect, he can pretty much destroy most enemy units, and or even deal a total of 7 damage to a base. So very good end game card. Okay, now let's go on to the actual deck. We have TIE Fighter, or TIE LN Fighter, I guess, if you want to go for the full name. Alright. This one is a 1 resource, 2 attack, 1 health, and it goes into the space arena. No effect, but you do deploy him pretty easily, and he's a villain card, so it counts towards Darth Vader's effect. Hello Mao, hello, nice to see you. Glad you could make it. I already reviewed one of the decks, but it's okay, I just started reviewing my second deck, which is a pre-built deck based around Darth Vader. You can actually see it here. By the way, this mat, this I got during TwitchCon last year, because that's when they first unveiled the Star Wars Unlimited card game, and this like actually says here an event exclusive mat, and this card is also like, it was exclusive for TwitchCon, because normally in the pre-built deck you have the regular version, but at TwitchCon you could get the hyperspace variant. No, don't apologize, it's quite alright. Your life comes first. I'm just happy you are here. And hope you enjoy the Star Wars music and the cards. And you can watch the VOD of where I actually explain more about the game and do pack openings and go into more detail. Here I just want to quickly go through my decks. These are the decks that I will actually bring with me to the East European Comic Con. By the way, that is pinned. How do I point? That is pinned right over there. If you want to see more info about it, we actually have some nice, some famous guests. And yeah, I will just go through the deck and explain what each card does real quick. We have Imperial Interceptor. Just put them over here, I think you can see them better if they're over here. Right, so this one is a 4 resource, 3 attack, 2 health. It's a red card and also a villain card, so red and black. When you summon it, or when you play it, as it's the terminology in this game, you can deal 3 damage to a space unit. So very good. You can instantly defeat most weaker space units. Okay, we have an ATST, very popular Walkers from the Star Wars franchise. This one is simply a villain unit. It has no other color. It's it costs 6 resources. It has 6 attack, 7 health, and it has the overwhelm keyword, which means it's like a trample or piercing effect. When I deal more damage to a unit than what their current health is, the excess damage is dealt to the base. So very powerful. And we have another copy of ATST, of course. Now comes probably my most favorite card. It's very gimmicky. I think I mentioned this before briefly. I am your father. So this is an event or spell card, as it would be called in other games. And it has the effect... Yeah, it's called Trampoline Magic the Gathering, exactly. Excuse me. Excuse me. You deal 7 damage to an enemy unit, which is pretty good for 3 resources. Unless the opponent says no, and of course they're gonna say it like that, no! And if they do, you draw 3 cards. So either way, you do gain some benefit. And you have like 2 copies of it. Hang on, let me drink some water. Cheers. Okay, next we have another Imperial Interceptor. We have Admiral Motti. You may remember this as the guy from the meeting in the first movie, or New Hope. This is the guy who said, "Don't try to frighten us with your sorceress ways, Lord Vader." And then he got choked and Vader told him, "I find your lack of faith disturbing." And he does have the effect, when defeated, you may ready a villain unit. Oh, look at that! Congratulations on the 5-stream streak, thank you very much. That means you pretty much have been here... Yeah, I streamed on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I took a break yesterday, I streamed today. That means you also watched me on Saturday then. Excellent, thank you very much. Oh, and break incoming in less than a minute. Of course, if you are fortunate to be a subscriber or you have Twitch Turbo, you can skip it. Alright, we have, this is an equip card, or as we call it in this game, upgrade, Vader's Lightsaber. You can attach it to any non-vehicle unit, so you can't attach it to an ATST, for example, which is a vehicle. But when you equip it to a unit, it gains +3 attack and +1 health. And of course it has the additional effect when you play it and you attach it to Darth Vader, good old Vader, then you may deal 4 damage to a ground unit. So that's pretty powerful. Dealing 4 damage without actually attacking with and putting your unit to risk is very good. Ooh, we already have Emperor Palpatine. Hang on, let me put these all in order. We have Emperor Palpatine, a late game card. He costs a whopping 8 resources. But he has 6 attack and 6 health. He has the overwhelm keyword, and the best part though is when you play him, you deal 6 damage divided as you choose between enemy units. Yes, unlimited power indeed. So let's say your opponent has 6 units and all of them have 1 health left. You play Emperor Palpatine and you destroy them all of them at once. A very rare situation, but it can happen. Or let's say your opponent has only 1 unit left and it has like 3 health. You play Palpatine, you deal 6 damage to the unit, and that means it takes 3 damage, and with Overwhelm the base will take the rest of the 3 damage. Okay, we have Cell Block Guard. Pretty simple, straightforward card. A Stormtrooper that guards the cell blocks on the Death Star. Like, probably he guarded Leia's cell too. It has 3 attack. No, it has a cost of 3, attack of 3, health of 3, and he has the Sentinel keyword or block in Magic the Gathering. You have to attack this guy first before you attack the other units or the base. Just a quick disclaimer, there are 2 arenas in this game, the ground arena and the space arena. And ground units can only attack ground units or your base. Space unit can only attack space unit or the base. So you will see a couple of space units, probably like the TIE Fighter and the Interceptor were like that. Hey, Viper Probe Droid. I think it's a very powerful early game card. It's like the droid from the second movie or episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. It has a resource cost of 2 and 3 attack, 2 health. Very good stats for a 2 health card, and when you play it, you may look at your opponent's hand. And these effects are pretty rare, and of course, gleaning information from your opponent's hand is always very useful. We have a Super Laser Technician. Cold. Yeah, I remember in Robot Chicken there was... No, I think that was in Family Guy's parody, where I don't know why it's called Half, it should be called Cold. Yeah. We have Super Laser Technician. Super Laser Technician, of course, Super Laser here is the Death Star, is the guy that kept firing the lasers. And it has a resource cost of 3 and only 2 attack and 1 health. But when it's defeated, this goes into your resource pile, which means that it basically becomes mana for you. And normally cards, when defeated, they go into the discard pile or graveyard, I suppose, as it's called in other games. And it's also readied, which means it can be used right away. Normally, there's a distinction between a readied and exhausted resource and exhausted unit. Okay, we have Blizzard Assault 8080, another late game card. It has a cost of 8, but it has a pretty strong 9 attack and 9 health. And when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, you may deal the excess damage from this attack to an enemy ground unit. So it's kinda like an Overwhelm, but Overwhelm... Yeah, Summoning Sickness is basically you play a card and you flip it like this, and you need to go to the regroup phase, and then the next action phase you flip it and attack it, unless the unit has the ambush keyword, which means they can attack right away. So the Blizzard Assault 880 is kind of like Overwhelm, but the excess damage is not dealt to the base, you can deal it to another ground unit. So overall pretty good. And with 9 attack it can deal some serious damage. So if the opponent doesn't have a way to protect their base, with that 9 attack you may just be able to deal the last bits of damage to the base. Okay, we have Snowtrooper Lieutenant. 2 resource, 2 attack, 2 health, and when played you may attack with another unit, and if it's an Imperial unit it gets +2/+0. So it makes another friendly unit attack, and ideally it will be Imperial unit and they will get +2 attack. We have Admiral Ozzel. This is a 2 resource, 2 attack, 3 health, Imperial official. He has an action ability, which means that you can't use it right away, but you can like manually activate it. And its effect is when you play an Imperial unit from your hand, you do activate. So yeah, you play an Imperial unit from your hand, you do still need to pay its cost, but it enters the play ready. And then the opponent may also ready a unit. So yeah, normally it prevents your summoning sickness, but it has the drawback that you still need to pay its cost, and the enemy can also ready a unit. Grand Moff Tarkin, a card that you can normally can't pull from any of the sets. It has to come with this pre-release pre-made deck. When played, search for the top 5 cards of your deck and up to 2 Imperial cards, reveal them and draw them. So it searches your deck, and if you're lucky enough to get 2 Imperial cards, and a lot of Imperial cards are in this deck, you can add them to your hand. So very good, it replenishes your health. And especially in an aggressive deck where you play a lot of cards quickly and empty your hand quickly, drawing more cards is quite good, and you have another copy of him. And I wouldn't be surprised if you had a third copy, because yeah, there's a third copy. Yes, we have another Snowtrooper Lieutenant, we have another Vader's Lightsaber, we have another Admiral Mati, we have a space unit, TIE Advanced, the kind of TIE Fighter Vader flew in as well. When played, you give 2 experience tokens to another friendly Imperial unit. Experience tokens are token cards that give +1/+1 each. I don't think I have them in this deck, I had them in Luke Skywalker's deck, but yeah. Very useful, and yeah, for a 4 cost unit it doesn't have very good stats, but it gives a +2/+2 buff to another unit, which is of course very useful. We have Overwhelming Barrage. I do like the card work. Here we have a Star Destroyer unleashing a barrage, and it has like a planet behind it where the sun rises or sets, I suppose, and you give +2/+2 to a friendly unit, then it deals damage equal to its power divided as you choose among any number of units. So let's say you buff an already powerful unit, like a 6/6 unit. You give it another +2/+2, it becomes an 8/8, and then you can deal 8 damage divided as you choose among the enemy units. Very powerful. Open Fire. It's Stormtroopers, so it may take a while until they actually hit someone, but it has the effect of dealing 4 damage to a unit. So this is the equivalent of a magic or spell card. It's an event. Okay, sorry if I'm going through this a little bit fast, but I have limited time, so yeah. We have another event, Resupply. Hello Undernick, hello. Nice to see you. Have a heart. Okay, we have Resupply. It's a event card. Normally event cards go into the discard pile, but this one goes into the resource pile exhausted. Which is pretty good, because you want to make sure you have more and more resources. You have the Relentless Star Destroyer. It costs 9 resources, but it has 8 attack and 8 health, and it has a powerful passive effect which makes that the first event played by each opponent each round loses all abilities. So an event like this, the opponent plays it, they pay the cost, but it loses the effect, so very useful, but of course it's a late game card. We have the third copy of I Am Your Father. No! Very good. We have TIE Fighter, another copy. We have Force Choke, of course. If you have Force Lightning, you also have to have Force Choke. And if you control a Force unit, such as Darth Vader or Emperor Palpatine, then this event costs 1 less to play. So normally it costs 2, not too bad, but it can cost only 1, and it has the effect you deal 5 damage to a non-vehicle unit, and then the unit's controller draws a card. So 5 damage for... yeah, some people do call me daddy, I suppose, but you need to prove it. Okay, so yeah, dealing 5 damage for just 1 resource or even 2 resources is pretty good, so it has the drawback that the opponent will draw one card. Okay, we have Gladiator Star Destroyer. It's a space unit, 5 attack, 6 health for 6 resources, and when you play it, this unit gains Sentinel, but only for this phase. So Sentinel, it is so-called block card. It protects your other units and your base, but this one only protects it for 1 turn. I guess that's the drawback because... no, wait a sec, not this unit. Give any unit Sentinel, so it can be very tactical, but only for this phase. So once the phase ends and you regroup and then start the next action phase, it will no longer have Sentinel. Okay, now I got it. Admiral Payat, 2 resources, 1 attack, 4 health, but it has the passive effect that each friendly non-leader unit that costs 6 or more gains ambush, which means this card will be able to attack and deal damage right away. We have another cell block guard, a 3/3 Sentinel. We have General Veers. He simply buffs your other units and still has quite good stats, 3 attack, 3 health, and other Imperial units gain +1/+1. Admiral Mati, we had him already. When defeated, you may ready a unit. So let's say Vader attacked. I actually pulled off this combo against my friends once. Vader attacked, he's exhausted. I attack with Admiral Mati and he died because he only has 1 health. But then I could ready Darth Vader and attack again with him next round. We have another cell block card, we have Open Fire again, we have 1st Legion Snowtrooper, we have another Viper Probe Droid, we have another Recruit. Yeah, it's a very nice combo. Which has the effect, it's an event, so a spell card, search the top 5 cards of my deck for a unit, and if I do find the unit, I can reveal it and draw it. And I put the rest of the cards on the bottom of my deck. Another Open Fire, another 1st Legion Snowtrooper, another Vader Star, Vader's Lightsaber, another Death Star Stormtrooper, another Imperial Interceptor, Maximum Firepower, now that's a cool title for a card. A friendly Imperial unit deals damage equal to its power to a unit. Then another friendly Imperial unit deals damage to its power to the same unit. So basically, normally with 1 action you can only attack with 1 unit, but with this action you can make 2 units attack at the same time. And not only that, they don't actually attack, they just deal damage equal to their attack power to another unit, so they don't get put at risk of dying. So yeah, very good. And yeah, there's only 1 copy of this in the deck, probably because it's so powerful. We have another Super Laser Technician. Very good card, because Darth Vader costs a lot to summon to the field, and this guy really helped me get him to the field earlier, because when defeated, rather than going to the discard pile, he goes into the resource pile. And we have some nice early game cards, Death Star Stormtrooper, no effect, but for just 1 resource you get a unit with 3 attack and 1 health. And if you can get buffs to him, that yeah. No, not at all. There is a website that you can check out where you have you can do deck building and also perform look up the card database and let me see, Star Wars Unlimited. And you can even build your deck there. Let me just link it over here. There we go. And they're already, so this was released early March, and currently there's only 1 set, but they're already starting to give previews of the next expansion, and that's pretty great because I saw that some of the next cards are based on the Mandalorian, and you have Moff Gideon and the Mandalorian as leader units. Oh, and this is the so-called initiative counter. I am afraid I don't have time right now to go into the details of the rulings. You can watch the other VOD and I will cover it some other time. But basically, the one, it's self-explanatory, the one that has the initiative counter can move first each action phase, and one of the actions you can take when you can't play any more cards is to take the initiative from the opponent, and then yeah, Baby Yoda is one of the new cards. I saw it on the website, and you now you can see it for yourself. Okay, final deck. This is my custom deck that I built based on the cards that I pulled, and let's just go over it real quick. So this is a red and blue deck. In this game, red is called aggression and blue is called vigilance. So the base is of the red color and it's the Catacombs of Cadera. It's from the planet of Jeddah, so that's from the Rogue One film. And the leader is Director Krennic. He has a passive effect, so it's not activated like Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader. And he has the ability where each friendly damage unit gains +1/+0. So if it's not at full health, it has an extra +1 attack. And you can also deploy him onto the battlefield once you have 5 resources, in which case he has 2 attack and 7 health, so not very powerful when it comes to attacking, but very resilient. And he has the Restore 2 ability, which means whenever he attacks, I can restore 2 health to my base. And he still retains the passive effect where damage units gain +1/+0, and I will show you why that's good. I believe this deck is still pretty neatly arranged based on costs. Yes, excellent. Okay, so first let me show you the tokens. These are good to have around. You have experience tokens. It has a nice little artwork of Yoda training Luke Skywalker on Dagobah. And the experience tokens are generated by certain cards and gives +1/+1. And you also have the so-called shield tokens. Basically, you, again, some cards generate this, you attach it to a unit and you will negate a single instance of damage, no matter how big that damage is. And the nice thing is that these tokens also double as base cards, so maybe sometimes you really need the shield tokens, other times you just need the base. And each card pack contains at least 1 base and 1 leader, so you can make sure that you can quickly build a new deck for even a small number of packs, and each pack contains 16 cards in total, so I would say that's quite generous. Okay, let's actually go through the deck. From lowest cards to the highest cards. We have Resilient. This is an upgrade, so equipment. It simply gives +3 health, which is pretty good because my units will be taking a lot of damage and I want them to be able to take advantage of the +1 attack as long as possible. We have another upgrade, Infiltrator Skill. This makes the unit attached, that gets the attachment. Yes, I can. Not in my city, but I can order it from another city, and one of my friends from D&D actually works at a card shop, and she can arrange to put things aside if I need to, and she was also nice and gave me some bonus cards, so yeah. And I might be able to buy some at the Bucharest convention, because Red Goblin, one of the famous hobby shops in Bucharest, will be there, so I think I may be able to get some packs there too. Anyway, we have another Death Star Stormtrooper. We have Force Lightning. Choose a unit and it loses all its abilities, which is already pretty good for 1 resource cost. Then if I have a Force unit, I have a couple of them in this deck, then I can pay any number of resources and deal 2 damage to the chosen unit for each resource paid. So in late game I can deal quite a bit of damage to a card. We have Force Throw. We have Darth Vader throwing stuff at Luke Skywalker in their battle on Cloud City. Yeah, this is from Cloud City. Choose a player. The player discards a card from their hand. Then, if you control a force unit, you may deal damage to the unit equal to the cost of the discarded card. So it's pretty good. I make my opponent discard a card and also deal damage to a unit of theirs. Of course, because they get to choose which card to discard, it may be like a low cost unit, low cost card, and deal like minimal 1 damage or even 0 damage, because there are some 0 cost cards in the game. But still, making someone discard a card and not make use of it is overall very good. We have Precision Fire, and this one is a foil. It is an event card, and it has the effect when I attack with a unit, it gains the separative effect, which means they ignore the Sentinel keyword, so they ignore the block, and they also defeat the shield token before dealing damage to the unit. Yes, exactly. We have another Precision Fire, this one is not foil, and the third Precision Fire, and we also have Keep Fighting, another tactic card. This is actually depicts, I believe, clones fighting some droids. This has the effect of readying a unit that has 3 or less power, so very good early game. We have a Scout Bike Trooper. This one has the keyword Grit. So Grit is kind of like the leader's ability, which makes it so that for each health that the target is missing, they gain +1 attack. So let's say it took 1 damage, it will be at 3 health, but it gets buffed to 2 attack instead of 1. And with Director Krennic, he gains an additional +1, so it basically becomes a 3-3. And very good because it's only a 2 cost card. We have Guardian of Wills. I don't know in which Star Wars media this one was. I think either in Rebels or one of the newer series, because this is a Force user. And it has the effect that the first upgrade you play on it costs 1 less. But I have this pretty much here as an early game unit, and because some of my cards interact with Force units, so that's why I have them in here. I have another copy. I have Inferno 4, very good space unit. When played or when defeated, I can look at the top 2 cards of my deck and put any number of them to the bottom of my deck and the rest to the top in any order. So it does allow me to spy on my the top cards of my deck and make sure that next time I draw cards, they are better cards. Like maybe it's early game and I would draw a very late game card, I can just put it back to the bottom of my deck. We have 2 Viper Droids, the cards that allow you to spy on my opponent's hand. We have 3 Snowtrooper Lieutenants, they buff other Imperial units. We have Partisan Insurgent, this one is actually a rebel, but it's a red card, so it fits in here. And it's not a hero or a villain, so I don't need to pay any extra resources. And it has the effect, while you control another red unit, so another red card, this unit gains Raid 2, which means that it gains +2 attack while attacking. So when defending, it retains its 1 attack, but when defending, when attacking, it has a total of 3 attack. We have Open Fire, we saw this in the other deck. We have Mission Briefing. Choose a player, they draw 2 cards. I actually have 3 copies of this, pretty straightforward. Most of the time I will be the one drawing 2 cards because I want to replenish my hand. But if I decked out my opponent, like they cannot draw any more cards, I can play this and I can force them to take damage, because just like in Hearthstone... Oh, thank you for the follow-up. Forgot to put the effect first so you can't actually see it, but yeah, you heard the sound. Okay. We have Ardent Sympathizer, 3 attack, 3 health, and while I have the initiative, it gains +2, +0, so it's pretty cool because for a 3 resource card I have a 5 attack unit. We have a cell block guard. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you. You're awesome. Okay, General Veers. He buffs your other Imperial units with +1/+1. Power of the Dark Side. This one is another one of those cards that allows me to instantly defeat a unit, but because it only costs 3 resources, my opponent gets to choose which unit gets defeated. We have a Wilderness Fighter. This one is a 3 resource, 2 attack, 4 health, but most importantly it has the shielded keyword, which means it automatically comes with a shield token, so it is quite resilient. We have Volunteer Soldier, 2/3, it has the raid 1 effect, and if I control another trooper unit, this unit costs 1 less to play, and I have plenty of other troopers in this deck, so it most likely will get the uptime. Yeah, it's not actually upside down. Oh, yeah, you get used to it. Hello, Omega. I suppose you like Star Wars and like card games, and that's what brought you here. I appreciate the follow. I have also Fallen Lightsaber an equipment. I also have the foil version of this. You attach it to a non-vehicle unit, but if I attach it to a force unit, such as the Guardian of Wills from earlier, then it gains the effect that when it attacks, it deals 1 damage to each ground unit, so it's like a cleave. And more importantly, it gains a +3/+3. Yeah, I don't know how well you can see it, but yeah, it is shiny. Okay, next we have Del Miko. 3/3 blue unit for 3/3. It has the Restore 1 effect. When it attacks, you heal 1 damage to your base. And it also has a pretty nice passive effect, which means that each event an opponent plays costs 1 more. So you're making the opponent's card cost more. We have maximum firepower. We saw this in the Darth Vader deck too. Very powerful because it can make 2 units deal damage equal to their attacks, and they're not even attacking, so you don't even actually put them in danger. And that's my alarm. Put them the 8. Hang on a sec. Okay, it's okay. I have some leeway. I can finish showing off this deck, and then I'll end stream, turn off my computer, and get going. Okay, we have Base Malbus, the guy from Rogue One with the big gun. Yes, pardon me. And he's a 2/5, and he has the grit effect, and while I have the initiative, he's also a sentinel, which means he protects your other units, and it combos well with Director Krennic, ironically because they are enemies in the movie. I have an Imperial Interceptor space unit that deals 3 damage to another space unit. Another copy of it. I have a System Patrol Craft. This simply has Sentinel, and I have the Hyperspace variant, which is borderless, and it has that hyperspace effect where the frame should be. Interestingly enough, the hyperspace variants don't have the full text of their keyword there. That's just how they are printed. Okay, I have another grit unit, an Occupier Siege Tank, 5 resources, 5/4. So this card can grow up to 8 attack on its own before it gets defeated, because the grit makes them gain attack for each missing health. And I have 2 copies of it, and let's not forget, Director Krennic gives another attack. We have Rugged Survivors, another grit unit. This one is 3/5, so it has a lot of health, and it has another effect. When it's attacking, if I control a leader unit, so let's say Director Krennic is on the field, you may draw a card, so very useful. And I have another copy of it. Oh, This is just a shield token. And I have another copy, and this one is a foil version. I have 2 copies of Vanquish. Straightforward, for 5 resources, I just simply defeat a non-leader unit. Corellian Freighter. Space unit. It's not the Millennium Falcon, but it is Corellian and has a similar design. 4 attack, 4 health, and it has Sentinel. Ruthless Raider, another space unit. This one is like an Imperial capital ship. When played or when defeated, I deal 2 damage to an enemy base and 2 damage to an enemy unit. And it says enemy unit, so it can deal damage to ground units as well, even though it's actually a space unit. We have Academy Defense Walker. Right now I'm getting into the late game cards. 5 attack, 5 health, and it has the Sentinel keyword, and when played, I give an experience token to another friendly damaged unit, so it combos well with my other grit units, and Director Krennic too. We have the Bendu. I believe this is a legendary card, so it's not foil, but it is harder to pull. You may remember this from the Rebels series. He was like a Force user that was neither Jedi nor Sith. He was like a neutral Force user, and it's reflected overall because he's neither hero nor villains. He's neither white or black, but he does have the Sentinel keyword, and which is pretty good because he can survive for a long time with its 7 health, and 4 attack is nothing to sneeze at either. And it has the effect on attacking the next non-hero, non-villain card you play this phase costs 2 less. So it I only watched parts of it too, but I know the menu for it. And finally, I have probably also the shiniest card in this deck. It's also a hyperspace variant, so it doesn't have the border, and it has that hyperspace effect, and it is foil. It's an 80-80 suppressor. It's the most expensive card in my deck. 8 resources, 8 attack, 8 health, and when it's played, I can exhaust all ground units. So let's say my opponent has a bunch of, let's say my opponent has 3 different units ready to attack me. I play 880 suppressor, and suddenly they are exhausted and they can't attack. So not as useful as actually defeating them, but still quite powerful. And that's it for the deck. Just put back the shield tokens and the experience tokens, and I want to make sure my base and my leader is there. So yeah, I'm afraid that's it for today. Like I said, it will be a short stream. My alarm is actually going off again. Yeah. It's short. It's a short stream. Usually I go for at least 2 hours, but it's all the more special because, you know, we also have Handcam, and normally I don't have Handcam. But yeah, as you can see, I actually have fingerless gloves, just like my model. I hope you like it. Thank you all for tuning in. I have to hurry, so I'm not gonna be searching for any raid, I'm afraid, right now, but thank you all for watching. I will be posting on social media during my weekend, probably some pictures from the conventions of cosplayers, maybe from the panels, and or the arts that I buy there, but yeah. I'll see you on Monday. I believe by now you should already have my, because I scheduled a tweet with my streams of next week, so you will know what to expect. Thank you all for watching. Remember to love yourself and take care of each other, and I'll see you next time.